Hey guys, what's going on? Adam here with Indie Farm Life. Welcome back to the channel. Summer is officially gone. The air is cool and dry and the crops are ready to be pulled in. So with that comes prepping the pond for wintertime as well. I say that like it's a pool, like we have a cover for this thing and I need to drop the water level halfway down. Although that second one there kind of been done for us. Let me give you guys a once over of where things ended up this summer. As a reminder, we don't have any creeks or streams feeding this pond. Well, other than the one cut we made up this way to drain that, what I called a floodplain in here. Nothing is feeding this pond. So you can see the water line where it ultimately came up, and it was actually probably a few feet higher than that early in the summer. I would say in late July, the water line was within probably 8 feet of the overflow. Now, not the depth we need. And over the last 6 to 8 weeks, we've had 0 measurable rain. So I'm not surprised to see it drop this much, but I'm also heartened that we still do in fact have this much water in here. My guess would be that out that way where the wind is kicking up the water, we're still probably in the neighborhood of 14 feet deep. And if you really want some perspective as to how much this has fallen, in the midpoint of the summer, both of those barrels on the gangway were certainly floating, and I would say the back one probably had at least 8 inches of water underneath it, and so more on the front. And now the back of these barrels on the dock are starting to rest on the bottom, and you can see that it's kicking the front end of the dock down. The pond ice still does look fantastic though. So what does winterizing the pond look like for me this year? Well, we don't have fish yet, or aeration, or pond structure, or the beach area. So none of that stuff to maintain or worry about yet. It's coming. It's on the laundry list of things I need to do. But one thing I'm going to do is, well, take the pool noodles off there, and the flamingo, and the unicorn. And then probably pull that ladder. And then I need to stain all the deck railing. And I don't know how I'm going to stain the outside of this 2x12 here. We'll see how that goes. But get some stain on there so that that pressure treated lumber doesn't start to rot. It's been up for probably 4 months now, so all the moisture that was already in there is out. So now's a great time to get this thing stained before winter. But the first summer with the new pond was pretty amazing. It'll be nice next year when we can just come out here and start using it without having to actually build that dock. That video had a fair amount of views and a lot of comments, and I'll link that above and at the end of this video. But if you guys have questions about building a floating dock like this, please do leave them below. Or if you are on the fence about whether to do a floating dock versus a stationary dock, I'm going to urge you to do floating all day long. Imagine if this was stationary and the water dropped that much. This thing would be sitting 4.5 feet out of the water. Not ideal. All right, I'm going to stop rambling and actually get some work done. And I won't show you guys the whole process, everything I'm doing here today. It's not that exciting, but once I wrap everything up, I will go out to the berm and kind of look back this way and give you guys a update of what that looks like. Had a fair amount of erosion out there, so some cleanup to be done at some point. So over a week later, yes, it's taking a lot longer than I had expected, probably about 5 times as long, but I'd say I'm about 95% done staining this dock. I got at least 1 coat on most things, and 2 coats in a lot of places. That 2x12 I was talking about, I actually had to get in the water last weekend with waders, and my waders have a leak, so it's pretty cold, but I guess better than being in there without them. But it looks pretty good. I'm going to hit the pause button though now. You can see there I have that gate yet to finish and some more here on the gangway. But given that this is resting on the barrels here, I'm going to grab the backhoe and see if I can't kind of dredge some of this silt out of here and make sure this whole thing's floating. This is becoming a much bigger to-do than I wanted it to be. I'm gonna take the backhoe and park it right in front of these blocks. And just take the arm and push this gangway out into the water. Just beyond those barrels sitting there. It's deep enough that it'll float. I really didn't want to mess with moving all these rocks, but it's better than getting in the water with a shovel and trying to dig under those barrels, so we will see. Well, I think that's going to work, and I'm not done yet. I abruptly quit because of that. That's not water. That would be hydraulic fluid spewing out of the, what's that called? The dipper cylinder? That boy up there? Yeah. Looks like that needs repacked now. Sweet. I'll probably grab the tractor and finish pushing this out here. Well, that turned out to be a whole lot more fun than I wanted it to be. That's sarcasm. Got a cylinder to fix in the backhoe, but at least that end now is in the water. I wasn't concerned about it floating as much as I was the barrels getting smashed. And as you can see, the dock does in fact float pretty well on its own. Just doesn't take much to move it, honestly, even for as heavy as it is. I'll go show you guys the berm real quick, and then I'm gonna come back and finish some of that. Dock looks pretty good, all stained up though. I need some more water. And actually, while I'm out here, I'm gonna show you guys this cut. Look at the size of some of these erosion lines. But this is the cut that was the floodplain. As you can see, it is bone dry right now. Ultimately, probably make one of these tire tracks a 4 or 6 inch tile and just drain this area into the pond. But the deer love this area. I need to get my cam out here, but so that's the mud hole. All right, the berm. So over the summer we had a fair amount of erosion, and just like the erosion channels up there by the pond, the ones on the berm are pretty serious too. And used to be easily wide enough for a pickup at the very top of this, and I still do it on occasion, but it's definitely narrowed out quite a bit. Really need a bulldozer to clean things up. We've even got some weeds and stuff growing on this old nasty clay. Should help a little bit with the erosion. Really need some TLC with the box blade, would do a lot. Maybe you'll see a video of that coming up. Extreme box blading. So yeah, a little erosion, but still a monstrous pile of dirt. I'll take you guys around the backside. Again, still a large pile of dirt. You can see here in front of us how there's been a lot of silt coming down this backside. Need to come through here with the box blade, set the angle on it and rip it, and then just clean it up that way. Again though, a project for another day. It's crazy, we don't even have that much property in the grand scheme of things, but the amount of things to do out here are endless. Especially when you start a project like, say, working on a pond dock, getting ready for winter, and then a hydraulic cylinder pretty much explodes on you. But here's a look at the far end. Looking back, you really can't look down the whole thing anymore because of all the tall weeds and grass. I call it grass like I actually planted it. But yeah, look back to some of those videos from a year ago right now when the pond was just being finished, and it is drastically different now than it was. After almost 1 year to the day, here is where the pond has ended up. A far cry from what it was last fall at this time. And again, I'll link some of those videos above, that playlist that details the whole build. And if you look back to the one where it was dry at the bottom and then now you see this, you realize how much water's here and, well, how much more we need. There's the overflow with the stain sitting on top of it. So we need a good 7-8 feet of water at least still. And my gangway needs more barrels. Well, thanks for hanging with me for what was a pretty random video. I'm happy to get this dock stained before winter. And next spring we'll be doing all sorts of things with the pond. Habitat for fish, stocking it, putting aeration in to keep the water turning, a beach somewhere, maybe behind me here, or quite possibly over beyond the tractor. I'm not really sure which is the best one yet. So many more projects on the way regarding the pond. 1 year in and I absolutely love this thing. And I love that floating dock too. So hit that subscribe button, guys. Come back and see us. New videos go up every Tuesday morning at 9 Eastern. Take care.